Big announcement from Baseball United last week. The world's newest professional baseball league, the first ever in the Middle East and South Asia, announced their plans for this year and next year. Good timing for the announcement, too, during the Olympics, when international sports are on people's minds, even though baseball is not a part of it this time around. Here's what they've got planned. First off will be the Baseball United Arab Classic. This will be a national team tournament hosted by Baseball United, featuring 8 countries across the Middle East and South Asia, following World Baseball Classic rules and regulations. That will take place from November 7th to the 10th. Tickets will go on sale in September. Schedules and venue locations should be revealed soon. It will be the largest national baseball team tournament in the history of the region. Just a few months later, from February 22nd to March 1st of 2025, we'll get to see the original 4 franchises take the field for the first time in an 8-day tournament. It'll be known as the Baseball United Cup. Then, the long-awaited inaugural season is scheduled to take place from October 23rd to November 23rd of 2025. The 4 original franchises will be joined by a new team based in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That team is nameless at the moment. The name, colors, and everything else are set to be revealed early next year. Each team will play 12 regular season games. The championship, called the United Series, will feature the top 2 teams in a best-of-3 series. In total, 33 games played in a 32-day season. The plan seems to be a good one, mostly. I do have my criticisms and questions, and I'll get to those later. But first, in case you haven't been following, here's a quick rundown of what this fledgling league has been up to so far. Baseball United made its on-the-field debut last November, but they have yet to play their first season. Last fall, there was the first ever Baseball United draft, where the 4 original franchises, the Mumbai Cobras, Karachi Monarchs, Dubai Wolves, and Abu Dhabi Falcons, drafted players from all around the world. Major League veterans like Robinson Cano and Didi Gregorius were joined by young prospects from obscure countries in the baseball world, like Finland, Sweden, Uganda, as well as 3 countries of Baseball United, India, Pakistan, and the UAE. The original plan was to hold a showcase, 4 games featuring those 4 teams, but just before tickets went on sale, it was scaled down to a 2-game All-Star Series. The event was not a failure. Each of the 2 games featured crowds of just under 4,000, which is probably by far the largest crowd to ever witness a baseball game in the UAE. But it was nothing close to what the organizers had imagined. For the series, they were using Dubai International Stadium, which seats 25,000. Right away, the upper deck was closed off, so the goal was 10,000. After a few weeks of slow ticket sales, the outfield was closed off, and they still couldn't sell all the remaining seats. The play on the field was good. It was actually quite an impressive group they put together, considering that it was played in November, when most professional ballplayers want some time off. And for those who are willing to play, Baseball United had to compete with all the Caribbean winter leagues. Some players even juggled both, from the Caribbean to Dubai, then back to the Caribbean. They did a great job of recruiting players for the event, and getting players from so many different countries around the world really made it feel like a world league, not tied to one specific region. After that, Baseball United was really quiet through the first 7 months of 2024. All we heard from them was that the inaugural season, scheduled for the fall of 2024, was delayed till the fall of 2025, and that the Dubai Wolves were being rebranded as the Arabia Wolves, while the Abu Dhabi Falcons were renamed the Mideast Falcons, and I'm not sure what the renaming of those teams even accomplishes. But then came the big announcement last week, and it feels like Baseball United is moving in the right direction. First of all, the Arab Classic is a great way to get things started. People in that region are much more likely to take an interest in a well-promoted national team competition, rather than a professional league representing cities with players who mostly come from other countries. This may be hard for the American audience to understand. American sports fans usually get more excited for a team representing their city or state, and it doesn't matter where the players come from. But around the world, national teams often bring in more fans than professional teams, especially when it's not a well-known sport in the region. We can see that going on right now in the Olympics. People get excited for sports they know very little about. They might be a badminton or table tennis fan for a couple weeks, but it wouldn't work if you tried to sell it to them any other way. Granted, the Arab Classic is not the Olympics, so it won't be that easy, but it's still more likely to generate local interest than the league could do on its own. Then, just a few months later, comes the Baseball United Cup, with the 4 original franchises. Most of the players will not come from the region, but a few will come from India and Pakistan. Those are the players who will probably shine during the Arab Classic. And it would be wise of Baseball United to promote those players as much as possible. See them play for your country, then see them play alongside former MLB greats and young MLB prospects on a team representing a nearby city. This could be a great way to connect sports fans in the region to the baseball world. Just one criticism of the format, though. They're going to have the teams play a round robin, then semifinals and finals. If every team's going to reach the semis, what's the point of the round robin? Anyway, the first season of Baseball United takes place the following October and November, and if the Arab Classic and the Baseball United Cup have their intended effect, then the first regular season should be a success. The timing is good, starts in late October when the World Series, Japan Series, and other championship series are just ending. They can advertise the league to baseball fans around the world as a way to keep baseball going on for another month. It'll be the only league in the world to crown a champion in late November. Summer leagues do that in October, winter leagues in January. Baseball United has that time all to itself. And they won't have to really compete with the Caribbean Winter Leagues for players. They finish in late November, then their players can go back to the Mexico, Dominican Republic, or wherever and finish out the season. So they should be able to recruit the best willing and available talent for their October to November season. Adding a fifth team in Saudi Arabia is a good move. They were talking about 3 Saudi teams and another in Qatar, bringing the total up to 8. I think that would be too much too soon. 5 seems like a good number. They bring in a new country without overdoing it. One thing we all noticed from watching the Baseball United All-Star Series last November was that the crowd was almost entirely from baseball-playing countries. Americans, Dominicans, Japanese. That's not really a bad thing. The UAE has a majority expat population, so you don't really expect a locally born, locally raised crowd. For those people it was great. When they got assigned to work there, they probably figured they'd never get to see any baseball as long as they were there, not even amateur ball. Seeing Bartolo Colon pitch to Robinson Cano to start off the series was a nice little treat for them. And at least, at a minimum, Baseball United knows they can count on 3,000 some odd spectators to show up for any game in Dubai. But it's not exactly who they're targeting. The majority of the expat population in the UAE comes from India and Pakistan. That's who they want coming to the games. That's where 2 of Baseball United's teams are located. If you want to attract those groups of people, you have to bring the game to the mother countries. That would mean adapting existing venues in India and Pakistan for use in baseball. But that's what they're doing in Dubai anyway, so I don't see what the problem is. They could probably attract a larger crowd of locals in India and Pakistan. The UAE has fewer than 1,000 active players. India and Pakistan each number in the thousands. And there you could build a crowd of actual local fans, not expats. It's easier to build onto a crowd that way. The obvious advantage to the UAE is the money. You've got to think about not just how many people are interested, but how many people can afford it. But they're going to have to play in Karachi and Mumbai eventually anyway. Besides, ticket prices for the series last November were pretty reasonable. It could have worked anywhere. But since they are going with Dubai for the Classic, the Cup, and the first season, the big question I've got is where are they going to play? They need to give up on trying to fill a large international stadium. A 5,000 to 7,000 seat venue seems like a good fit. Fill more than half the seats for a regular game. Sell out for the championships. It's a reasonable target, something they can reach. Sure, they could put the same number of spectators into a larger venue, but it's not a good look for this league. Hopefully they find a place better suited for an up-and-coming sport in the region, not a place intended for one of the region's biggest sports. As for the rosters, they'll probably just keep the same players from last year's draft. It'll be 2 years after the draft when they play their first season, so a few will need to be replaced. I don't know if Bartolo Colon can still get out there at his age. Hope he can. The big question will be the Saudi team. The other 4 teams will already have their rosters put together. Plus, they get some playing experience next February. The team based in Riyadh will have to select from players who are available to play in November and not already signed by one of the other 4 teams. And they'll have no experience playing together. So they're already looking like the weak expansion team. If everything works out, then in a few years we'll be seeing teams travel from Dubai to Mumbai, from Riyadh to Karachi, a crowd of up to 10,000 in attendance for the United Series. They've still got a lot of work to do to make that happen, but at least for now they seem to be headed in the right direction. Anyway, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think down in the comments. That's all for this one, and until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya!